Hey, I'm just going to give some quick updates on the interactivity extension in glTF. So glTF, as it currently stands, a lot of people think about it handling static content and animations and that sort of thing. And interactive use cases are typically hard-coded on a per-application basis. Think about Unity or Unreal or Babylon.js in the latter case. Of course, if we want this content to be viewable by third-party viewers or increase the rate at which you're able to be interoperable with different applications, it's important to kind of standardize how this actually behaves and looks directly in the file. And of course, we're thinking about a lighter use case. We're not talking about making a whole application in here, but that is the problem that we were focusing on for interactivity. So at a high level, this new interactivity extension, it's used for use cases often like e-commerce. So here I see a product configurator use case. And we provide node-based standard for interactivity, and we're trying to empower the development of simple interactive applications such as games, education, design review, e-commerce, etc. And it's basically just a set of nodes with some extra stuff there. You see in the extension JSON we have events, nodes, types, and variables, and it basically creates a directed acyclic graph. And you can see on the left your node structure. You have value ins and value outs on the right side, and flow ins and flow outs on the right side as well. Configuration constants are also configured in the node, and you can basically use this structure of a node to define all sorts of interactive aspects and have a whole logic graph with this structure. There's all sorts of categories of these nodes, so you can see all of them here. You have like logic and math nodes, type conversion nodes, control flow nodes. So you don't always have one flow in and one flow out. You can handle multiple different branches and for loops, etc. You can manipulate state, and you use pointer, this pointer node to control the different states of the glTF scene via the KHR animation pointer extension. And with event nodes, you can handle different events like on start or on tick. And there's some limitations with this approach, of course. We wanted to set up so this is a sandbox environment that doesn't have any other issues around security or portability, and wanted to make it easy to implement largely. So we don't want to support dynamic allocation or object instantiation or array variables or dynamic strings. Makes this a lot simpler. You don't have to worry about injection as much or something of that sort. And there's also no network access, no file system access, and no multi-user, of course. And here's a quick example graph I wanted to show. So you can see it's bouncing up and down by default. And when I click, it changes the material variant. And this is a quick example of the graph where on start, we're going through this sequence infinitely. We have a custom event send on one side that's calling itself back to animate it up and down with a pointer interpolate its translation. And then on click, it will go through a 360 rotation with pointer interpolate as well, and then also switch to the next variant with some conditional logic to change the variable back to the beginning. Here are a couple other examples. One you have on the right side, a infinite animation with this robot, which is pretty cool. You can't do that with typical animation. And on the left side, it shows you can do matrix math to make things look at each other. The main thing I wanted to talk to everybody about is interactivity for resources and getting involved. So this spec, we have a spec that is in a draft status and open for review. All of this is mentioned in the blog post. We're really looking for feedback on this and other people's thoughts about this. We also have an open source implementation that you can use to test out some of this as well. And you can see all of this by looking at the QR code for this blog post. And we have several companies actively working with the standard. Adobe, Amazon, and Google are all working on the standard in one way or another. And there are several other companies that have been following closely along, trying to do that as well. So that is it for interactivity. And to Owen.